If you're a medical professional looking for some quick tips on budgeting, stay tuned. We're going to share those with you and what a bowling alley has in common with your budget. Today, our subject is budgeting made easy. Simple tips for financial success. So, managing your finances doesn't have to be daunting. Just because you're thinking about budgeting doesn't mean that you're broke. It does mean that you want to do better and you're probably thinking about the future. With a little knowledge and some discipline, you can budget like a pro and take charge of your money. So, whether you're saving for that dream vacation, paying off debt, or just trying to make ends meet, a well-crafted budget is your roadmap to financial success. So in this episode, we're going to walk you through what budgeting is, why it's crucial, and how to do it effectively. We'll also dive into goal setting, differentiating between income and expenses, and understanding the different types of expenses. So we're also going to introduce you to the concept of a decision tree to help you make smarter financial choices. So what does a bowling alley have in common with budgeting? When I was a kid and you were learning how to bowl, sometimes they put up these gutter guards down the side. You can see those in the picture here. So no matter how poorly you threw it, you weren't going to throw a gutter ball. So I want you to think of budgeting the same way, right? We may get hung up on the word budgeting, and budgeting is never a positive word. When you were a kid and your parents said that's not in the budget, when you were at work and work says it's not in the budget, we always have this negative connotation. So for today, I want you to get rid of the word budget, that bothers you, and call it a spending plan. And so what we're trying to do, the picture here of the bowling alley, is the idea is we're trying to avoid throwing a financial gutter ball, right? So a financial gutter ball, just like when we were learning when we were kids. So that can, if we have a financial gutter ball, it can cause bigger problems in the future. So we're going to call it a spending plan today. What is budgeting? At its core, budgeting is a process of creating a plan to spend your money. So as we said before, we're going to call this a spending plan. It helps you ensure that you have enough money for the things that you need and the things that you want without falling into debt. So basically, you're tracking what's coming in, your income, what's going out is your expenses, okay? Start this from the view of what is necessary and required expenses first. This is our housing, our rent, our house payments, our utilities, our electricity, our gas, our car payments, our insurance, and a monthly number for food, not including the eating out there, but monthly number for food if you're buying food, and fixed expenses for your kids, school, etc. So these are the things that we're required to pay every month, no matter what. So we want a full list of those things first, okay? These are not the things that we want to have. The things that we want are is a separate list, okay? So we've got needs, now we've got wants. In our wants, we're talking about entertainment. We're talking about eating out. We're talking about a new car, a vacation, grown-up toys, all that kind of stuff. And so while it may feel that those are must-haves, imagine if you didn't have any income. What are the things that you would cut first? These are usually the wants, okay? Once you have your expense list, compare that to what's coming in, your household income, whether it's salaries or other streams of income. If it isn't consistent income, don't add it to the list, okay? So for example, if you get a bonus every year, we can't automatically count on a bonus. We don't know that they're going to pay it. We don't know how much it is. So for your spending plan, leave that out. That's additional income that's coming in later on in the year. But for our spending plan, we want to base that based on what we know is coming in every month, okay? Once you've reviewed your monthly income and necessary expenses, use any additional income to apply to a plan to the wants category. This is where you've got some flexibility. I would add here that when your income is exceeding your needs category, you should also be saving and investing for your future self. Most of us don't want to work forever. So if you aren't saving, it's time to figure out how to include that in your plan. So that future self is where I spend most of my time in my practice. How do we get it to last as long as possible? I could talk for a long time about that. So think about this. If you aren't saving anything, then you're probably going to have no option but to keep on working. Think about it differently. If something happened to you and you couldn't work, what would you rely on to get you through? Make this part of your plan. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a decision tree. We're applying it to, how we want to spend our money. So if you look at the top center question, number 1, can I afford it? Yes or no? Then it branches down. Is it necessary? Does it enhance my quality of life? Does it fit my values and goals? Am I giving up something more important to have this? As you go down this decision tree, anytime you hit a no, i.e. the red block, you want to question if you really think it's the best idea to spend your hard-earned money on it. So decision tree is basically just a list of questions. And each question you're trying to say, is it yes or is it no? And as we said here, anytime that you see a no, we're saying, do I really need to spend my money on that? Okay, so budgeting is like creating a patient care plan. Just as you assess a patient's needs, you prioritize their treatments, you monitor their progress to ensure the best possible outcome. So budgeting or your spending plan involves evaluating your financial situation, setting your goals, and regularly reviewing your spending to keep your financial health in check. So without a plan, a patient's condition could worsen. Without a budget, your financial well-being could suffer. Why should you budget? Well, the reasons are pretty clear. Budgeting is essential for several reasons. First, we want financial control. It gives you control over your money. I say access to capital or cash puts you in the driver's seat. We are not in the driver's seat when we're stressed out and everything we have to buy is on credit cards. Debt reduction. It helps us manage and reduce debt. We recently did another episode around that. If you don't have a plan and you're spending everything that you make, your debt is likely increasing. When you hear paycheck to paycheck, people think poor people. Well, today that isn't really true. With lifestyle creep and inflation, what we're earning isn't covering what it used to in a big way. I know medical professionals making significant six figures that are still pretty close to paycheck. So now is the time to take a look at your spending. Let's get a really good look at what is really required spending, what are your wants and what that's costing you, and what does the future look like? So the only one looking after your future self is your current self. If we can't keep it in the alley, remember our bowling alley, if we can't keep our spending in the alley with today's income versus expenses, what is that going to look like when you're not working for a paycheck? So savings encourages saving for future goals. Stress reduction reduces financial stress by providing a clear picture of your financial situation. Okay, so 5 steps to budget like a pro. Number 1, we want to set clear financial goals. We want to make them SMART. These are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We want to track our income and expenses. This is categorizing into essential needs and non-essential wants for our expenses. We talked about that. We want to create and adjust our budget. We want to use a 50-30-20 rule as a guide and adjust as it's needed. So 50% is for needs, 30% is for wants, and 20% is for savings and debt repayment. So adjust these percentages based on your situation. Use a decision tree for financial choices. While we talked about simplified decision tree, other ways to look at it are defining the decision. What is the financial choice that you're facing? List the options. What are the possible actions that you can take? Evaluate the outcomes. What are the potential results of each option? Make the decision. Choose the option with the best overall outcome. For example, if you're deciding whether to buy a new car, your decision tree might include options like buying a new car, buying a used car, or keeping your current car. You'd evaluate the cost, the benefits, and the long-term impact of each choice before you decide. Okay, so then we're going to review and adjust regularly. So budgeting is not a one and done task, right? This is a continual process. We want to regularly review your budget to see if you're on track. So life changes, income fluctuations, unexpected expenses, new financial goals require adjustments. So monthly reviews can help you to stay on top of it. If you're not doing it monthly, do it at least quarterly, okay? We want to just see, because if we do it on a regular basis, then we can adjust and see where we're off track. Okay, so tips for proper goal setting. Be specific. So rather than saying save money, we want to be specific and say save $500 for an emergency fund. We want to set our deadlines. We want to give ourselves a timeline to achieve each of our goals. And then we want to break down the goals. So divide the larger goals into smaller goals. It makes it easier, manageable milestones. Are you ready to take control of your financial future? I created your financial vision planner for you, a busy medical professional that doesn't have a bunch of time to research and figure out why their money isn't working in alignment with what you really want. It gets rid of the noise and the speed bumps right here, right now. In your terms, is surgery on your money really necessary to get you to retirement? So what do you really want? It doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it. Your dreams on your terms. That's what I want for you. My goal is to get you there faster. You can do this, or you can stay where you are. So with my support, I can get you there in half the time. Think about that. Retire sooner, retire with more, add years to your retirement. How would that feel to have more support in your money and your finances? So click on this link and watch a 6-minute video and change your financial future today. Also, don't keep this show a secret. Share it with somebody that you think could benefit, even a group that you're in. So, Wealth Prescription Weekly is available for everyone. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week.